Alright, so this video is going to be on the upcoming UFC fight between Ilia Topuria.
How do you think you would beat Ilia Abturo, Topuria? Bum, 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 bum. Well, grab him by the scruff of the chest and slap that little nose off him, yeah? Little ding dong of a thing he is, yeah?
Bro, that video of Conor McGregor kills me every time. But seriously, it's Ilia Topuria versus Max Holloway this coming weekend. Now, Ilia Topuria, if we want to talk about a stylistic matchup, on the surface, both these guys are strikers. So we could say, oh, similar styles. But there's a key difference in their striking styles. Ilia is a guy that comes forward, that puts pressure on you, that doesn't throw a lot of volume, and he looks to just land absolute missiles on your chin, which is exactly what he did to Volkanovski. When you watch that fight, what did he do? He came forward, he's slipping side to side, he's blocking, he's putting the pressure on, he's making Volk move laterally, he's making him use energy. First round, okay, he landed a few shots, they both landed a few shots. But the second round you could see, as soon as Ilia connected, Volk's lights went out. That's his style. Where Max Holloway, he is a striker. Sure, he is a striker. But he's a volume sort of guy. He'll put a pace on you. He'll keep going at a pace where not many people can keep up with him. They're not hard punches. They're not atomic bombs on the chin. He's just throwing boom, boom, boom. He keeps going over and over. The guy gets gassed eventually, and then he can take them out, or he can win on decision. Now, some people watch these sort of fighters and think to themselves, oh, I want to fight like him, or I want to fight like him. But really, both of these styles are based on their natural attributes. We cannot, if I'm naturally a sort of like more disposed to fighting like Max because I've got better fitness, I don't have a crazy right hand, for example, and I'm able to just throw more punches, move around, and just keep doing that for a whole 25 minutes, right? That's my style. I can't really change who I am as a fighter, right? But if I'm a bit more on the opposite side, which you see it in other fighters, right? Conor McGregor's like that. He's more on the Ilia side, where I'm not sure about Ilia's fitness per se, but he's got the power. He doesn't need to be throwing like throw off punches so he could land one. He's just coming forward and throwing the punches that are going to count. That's his style. You can't change if that's how you're made. That's how you're gonna fight. You know, you might have strategy. You might try and change things up, but you're not going to be able to. It's my dog. Just having a dream. I think she's dreaming about the fight. Sorry, guys. Let me get this back. Yeah, look, these two styles are naturally given to us. And who's going to win? Sometimes Max can win, sometimes Ilia can win. You know, history shows that both styles are able to be successful. Max was one of the best featherweights of all time. His style did work. Now, Ilia isn't tested yet. I think he may be the favorite going into this fight, but maybe his style will work. Maybe he will be undefeated for the next 4 or 5 years. We don't know. But both styles we know can work. Both styles can work. Now, what I want to say is, in the spiritual life, those young guys that come into the church will read some like monastic literature, the Desert Fathers, and we want to copy what they do. We want to copy their style. We want to be like, oh, look, this certain saint didn't speak. He was known as having the virtue of silence. He didn't waste his words. So what am I going to do? I'm just going to go cold turkey and say 5 words a day. I'm gonna behave like him. Another saint may be known for his preaching and his ability to speak, to communicate. And all of a sudden, this young person reading his life gets the urge to, maybe that's what I need to do. If I want to be like close to God, I need to preach and tell the world and be brave, like Saint Paul, for example. Yet neither of these style is better than the other, but the problem that is unfolding before our eyes is that we want to copy the affect of what it is to be close to God. We want to copy the person and their result rather than the fundamentals. Have your prayer life, have your reading of the church fathers, the lives of the saints, the Bible, going to liturgy, having confession regularly, right? Partaking of the Eucharist. These are the fundamentals. They lay the foundation of us. They build up our character, and then whatever we're predisposed to is the direction we will take naturally, without effort, without trying to fabricate something. Now, this brings to mind a desert father by the name of Saint Macarius. To those of you who have never heard of Saint Macarius, or you've never heard of Saint Pachomius, or you've never heard of Saint Anthony the Great, or Saint Athanasius the Apostolic, these are key figures in Christianity. These are people you have to know about. Okay? I'm going to talk about Saint Macarius. Saint Macarius, he had a vision. Okay? And this vision was 2 boats sailing. And on one boat, they had a hermit. A hermit is someone that lives in solitude. He dedicates his life to strict asceticism in fasting and prayer and devotion to God. He doesn't see people. He is completely isolated. And on the other boat was a monastic leading a group of other monastics. It was communal monasticism. And he was teaching, he was serving with them. They were living a life of the Christian faith together. This vision was an answer for St. Macarius to share with his followers, to say that neither life is better than the other, but both lives, when done with devotion to God, with the right disposition, with humility, with love for God, both are accepted before God. Now, some of us might be better suited for this or for that. Some of us are better at holding our tongue. Some of us are better at being more on the meek and quiet side. Some people like Saint Paul are outspoken. They're courageous and brave and want to give a defense. Everyone has different characteristics. These characteristics, alongside with devotion to God, will shape us into the person we are called to be for the kingdom of heaven, to bring people to the kingdom of heaven. We are not to try and copy an exact person's life. We're not to copy the affect of someone's relationship with God. This isn't it. So no matter what side of the fence we are on, what we must rejoice in is that each one of our unique characteristics and our situations in life, where we live, who our friends are, what our interests are, what our IQ is, our education, our careers, our jobs, our sort of failures and successes, all these things that make us so unique can be used for the glory of God. We don't need to fake to be someone else in order to be a good Christian. God calls us to be who we are. He designed us to be who we are. But that character that we have inside of us, to be nourished through asceticism, through prayer and fasting, all these things will make you the version that God called you to be. When we distance ourselves from God, the more we distance ourselves, the more we become the fake version of ourselves. We are not really a selfish person, an arrogant person. We are not really a mean person, but this is who we become when we distance ourselves from God. When we get closer to God, we become more patient. We become more caring. We become softened. You know, you see people can live their life away from God and become so hardened. Yet their family member passes away, and they just all the facade gets torn off, all their whole act just goes absolutely out the window, and they become like a child again. They're in tears, they're broken down, they don't care if they have a Ferrari, they don't care how many businesses they have, none of that matters. It all goes away. That is the version of who they really are. But through years of hardening their heart, through years of rejecting God, where does it lead to? It leads to you not being your genuine self, to me not being my genuine self. And only through coming closer to God do we all become the person who God designed us to be. And I want to leave you guys with a question. Who's winning? Honestly, is Ilia knocking out Max, or is Max getting a decision? I have no idea. Let's see what happens this weekend.